Yo, what's up, guys? Let's be real. Staying consistent is actually hard for everybody, and I know I've been doing a bunch of consistency videos, no motivation, consistency, but that is the most important asset, the most important asset that you need to have to achieve your goals in any domain. So, whether it's the gym, running, working, boxing, basketball, football, or just waking up early, we all have days where we don't actually feel like we want to do it. Did you ever start strong, went really hard for about a week, then suddenly fell off? Me too. I know I've given this example many times, but it's a actually good example. There's a reason why this happens, and once you understand it, you'll never struggle with consistency ever again. So guys, by the end of this video, what you will learn: you'll have a simple system that keeps you locked in even on your worst days. That is the main idea of the video, so let's get into it. The truth is that motivation is a feeling, and feelings change. And one day you're hyped to go hit the gym, but the next day you feel lazy. Let me give you an example. How many of you guys usually said that on New Year's, this year is gonna be my year, I'm gonna hit the gym, I'm gonna read, I'm gonna make all this money, I'm gonna get all those girls? But that is the motivation. What you actually need is consistency. So let's get into it. Think about pro athletes. They don't feel like training every day. Nobody does. But they just do it. And you know why? Because they follow a system. They don't follow the feeling of motivation. Because as I said before, motivation is a fucking feeling. Your brain is actually made to seek comfort. When something is hard, your mind will find a way to avoid it unless you actually train it to do otherwise. So I've made some steps for you guys that are easy to use and easy to understand about how to stay consistent and how to make it easier to start, which is step one. Step one is lower the barrier. Most people usually make consistency too hard for themselves. They go from 0 to 100 overnight and then burn out. Let me give you guys an example. If you never run before, don't try running 5 miles a day. It's not gonna work. It's obviously not gonna work. Start with 5 to 10 minutes and then build up. Progressive overload, as I said before in my last video. Yeah, so let me give you an example for boxers. Let me give you an example for boxers, for fighters. Boxers don't start on day one. They don't start with 12 rounds of fucking sparring. No, they start with the basics. They start with the jab, a bit of shadow boxing, a bit of footwork, in and out. They don't start, I don't know, from 0 to 100, 12 rounds of sparring, fucking Canelo, Triple G and shit. No, they start from the beginning. So that's step one. Step number two, create a non-negotiable minimum. Gosh, that word was really hard for me to pronounce. I don't know why. Well, let me explain it. You don't have to go hard every single day. But the one thing that you gotta do, one thing is show up every single day. That's the one thing that you gotta do. For example, you can't hit a workout because you are really sore, and if you actually hit a crazy ass workout, it's not gonna go well for your muscles and it's not good for your body. But just do at home 10 push-ups. If you can't go for a run because you have hurted your leg, just go for a 5-minute walk. It's okay. Or do some push-ups. Every single time you can do something else. There's no say like I can't do anything about. No, you can do something. There's always something you can do. That's the main point that you need to get from this. Show up. That's the minimum that you can do. Show up, and the rest will follow. So step number 3 is actually trick your brain with the 2-minute rule. Yes, I've talked about many rules. They have many names, but there are different methods which I talk about in each of my videos. They are different. Every single thing that I talked about is not actually the same. There are some differences, and it's actually cool and new methods that you can try if the other didn't work. For example, on step number 3, your brain resists big tasks, but it doesn't resist tiny ones. Tell yourself that you'll just, I don't know, put your running shoes or do 1 set at the gym. as from my experience, over 90% of the time, you'll just keep going because what's one set? It's nothing, one set. If you do it right, it's something. But for the when we talk about consistency, is not that much. And 90% of the time, after you do that one set, you come out, oh, I did this. I can do one more. Hold on. My motivation kicks in, which is a feeling, a good feeling. But you don't got that. You don't gotta rely on motivation. That's the main thing. Don't rely on it, but you can use it as fuel. Keep that in mind. We talked a bit about consistency, but let me give you a summary of the whole video for everybody who's watching. So, staying consistent isn't about motivation. It's about having a system, having a schedule. So, you gotta lower that barrier, set a minimum, and trick your brain into starting. So, you actually gotta trick your brain. It doesn't actually work like, oh, my brain. No, because as I said in the video, your brain seeks comfort. If you wanna reach your goals, you're not gonna be comfortable. Not at all times. Most of the time, you're not gonna be. So, you gotta trick your brain. Right now, pick one thing that you'll be slacking on. Apply this literally today. Just do 2 minutes and prove to yourself that you can show up. I don't know, just put your running shoes and go for a walk. Put some music in your earbuds. Go for a walk if you decided to run. Read 1 page, not 5. You know all these examples. As I've mentioned in my other videos, you can do it. Start with a small amount, and just progressively overload that amount. And in time, you're gonna build momentum and everything is going to go great. But you gotta start. That's one thing that you gotta do. You gotta start. So, in the end, in the last minute of the video, drop a comment on what you're gonna stay consistent with. Let's hold each other accountable, because I think this is the best thing with social media. We can help each other grow as a community, as friends, and as supporters of one another. So drop it in the comments. Have a good day or a good night. Bye bye.